Why is finding clients so hard? Let's talk about it. So, this video is for copywriters, freelancers, service providers, okay? If you're one of those, this is going to resonate with you because I understand the struggle of trying to find copywriting clients. I did that for 20 years and I know how hard it is, especially in the beginning, but it can be hard even for somebody who's already experienced. I mean, I have been through like multiple recessions at this point. So I've experienced what it's like to lose your entire client base. I've experienced what it's like to lose a big client that you were excited with, lose a client that, like, it's happened to me so many times that it's like, I get it. So you're kind of starting over and over again. But when you know how to make the process easier for yourself and you understand what makes it difficult to actually find clients, you can have a much more enjoyable time as you're taking those actions to actually find the clients. So for a copywriter, for example, I'm going to be speaking directly to copywriters because that's the people that I'm reaching out to. But this can apply to you, again, if you're a freelancer or you're a service provider, okay? If you're a copywriter and you're trying to find clients, there are 3 things that make that process much more difficult. Okay, so if you know about these in advance, you can say, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that anymore because I just realized I was doing that. Okay, so the first thing is the story that you're telling yourself as you're taking the actions to find copywriting clients. So when you're a copywriter, part of the actions that are required to find paying clients, paying work is you're either going to be applying to copywriting jobs, right? You're going to search on job boards or you're going to search Facebook groups. You're going to find job posts and you're going to apply. And this is either going to be for projects, one-off projects or bigger projects or actual copywriting jobs, like with a salary. So you're either going to be doing that or you're going to be talking to people and introducing yourself to people who might need a copywriter. So this can be business owners. This can be somebody that knows a business owner. This can be networking groups, programs that you join, courses that you join where you're actually meeting other people and you're talking to them. So that's basically it. You're either applying to a job or you're talking to people. And then there's kind of the, you can cold pitch, but that's a little bit in the middle because you're not really talking to the person. You're just sending them a DM or an email, which is very easily deletable on their end. So those are basically, some version of those actions is what you have to take in order to find clients, land clients. And then there's a whole process behind that of having a sales call, figuring out what they need help with, learning how to work with them. But for now, for this video, we'll just talk about actually finding the clients, okay? So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of steps. So the story that you tell yourself as you're taking those actions will either take you out completely and make you a pile of emotional waste so that you can't do anything, or the story that you're telling yourself is going to build you up with every single job application that you complete, every single cover letter you write, every single pitch that you send out, every single sample that you send somebody, every single portfolio link that you share, with a potential client. It's either going to be building you up or it's going to tear you down, the story that you're telling yourself while you're taking these actions. So what do I mean by story? I can tell you exactly what I mean by that. So I remember experiencing this with Upwork specifically. For some reason, I was having a really difficult time trying to figure out that platform because there were things about the platform that I didn't really like, but I wanted to find clients on the platform. And so I remember this was like 2020. So I would be sitting there writing a cover letter to an Upwork client searching for jobs and then like finding the ones that I wanted to apply for and then writing a cover letter. And then the story that I had in my mind as I was doing that was so negative. It was like, I don't want to fucking do this. This is dumb. This is bullshit. Like, these people should just, I wanted to punch something. I had like my fist basically assisting me with every single proposal that I was sending out. And so I was coming from the wrong energy, right? And my very first project that I actually got was the nicest guy ever. And it was in a niche that I had no interest in and no experience in. And it was like way technical, but he was the nicest client ever. And he gave me a really good review. And I was like, great. And so I was like, okay, the first one is done. The first one's out of the way. And so I tried to like channel that better energy towards the next few projects that I applied for. But I kept bumping up against that wall where I had the wrong energy. I was bringing my fist into it. And I was just telling myself a negative story. So I landed a few more clients on Upwork, including some bigger ones and some like multi-4-figure projects. And I was having a little bit of success with it. And then I had one client where it literally the smallest client that I've ever had in my life, like a $250 project. And it was supposed to be a $500 project, but he didn't follow through on his end. And so he only paid $250. And then he left a negative review for the $250 project. And he called me combative. He's like, she's a slow, mediocre, combative copywriter, right? And so it was this weird experience of me confirming my own belief about people on Upwork. And it was like my belief was coming back to me. So the story that I was telling myself was coming back to me in the form of a really low level, like ridiculous client that left a bad review, complained, and he didn't even pay that much. Like what he paid for was like so small, and he didn't follow his end of the bar. Like he didn't follow through on his word. So I looked at that and I was like, okay, this is a crossroads for me, right? It's a turning point for me. I can either keep going in this direction of believing that Upwork is like this difficult marketplace for me to tap into, or I can make a decision that, you know what, I'm going to change my approach to how I look at Upwork. It isn't like that Upwork is cursed. It's just one of many different avenues of finding clients. It's a very tiny percentage of the client work that I've done, right? I have found a lot of my clients through actually joining paid groups and being a part of like business groups. And that's how I meet clients. So I would have to change that story in order to have a better experience with Upwork. And I'm like, do I actually want to change the story? Do I want that? Because that's the next thing that can make it hard for you to find clients. Do you actually want to find those clients? Do you want to actually land those clients? Yes or no? Because if you don't want it, if you would rather be doing something else, you're going to make it difficult. If there is some like subconscious reason that you have in your mind as to why it would be bad or negative to actually have that business brought to you, then you're not going to do it. Like you're going to make it difficult for yourself. So that's the question I would ask is, do you actually want the copywriting clients? And it's okay if the answer is no, right? Maybe there's something else that you would rather be doing with your life. I had a student in my program who was in a very stressful job that she hated. I mean, she had to carry mace, to work because it was that bad. She hated this job. It took up all her time. And she didn't have much time to apply to copywriting jobs and reach out to people. Like she had a few hours a day, and then she would just be so tired, so drained from the day job that she hated, that she really didn't have much to give to the process of finding her copywriting clients that she wanted. And when we dug into it, she hated her job, but it gave her security. It gave her the guaranteed paycheck that she thought that she wanted. So for her, she wanted the security of a job she hated more than she wanted to risk finding copywriting clients. Because when you're working with copywriting clients, when you're a freelancer, there is no security. Those people can leave at any second. Even when you have retainer clients, they can finish out their contract and they can leave. I've had that happen multiple times, right? There is no such thing as security. The only thing that makes you secure is knowing that you can take action and monitor your story and your self-talk while you take action. There are certain actions that you can take daily and weekly to land clients. And, there's certain things that you can do for your portfolio and your cover letters and your pitches that will increase your chances of getting a reply and a yes and a client. Knowing that you can do those and knowing that you can take those actions is your security, right? Being able to change your story and your self-talk as you're taking those actions, that is your insurance policy, right? That is going to create the security that you're actually wanting. But for this particular student, she really struggled a lot because she was holding on to the supposed security of her job that she hated. So that is something that every copywriter, freelancer will have to make. That's a decision that you have to make, is like, do you want to let go of the thing that you absolutely hate and you despise it in your soul, and you want to just hold on to it so you can keep making money, keep barely paying your bills, keep barely living the life that you want to live? Or do you want to let that go and take a risk and actually do the thing that you're being called to do? So that's a huge question. Some people realize they don't actually want to do that. They don't want to take that risk. They would rather hold on to the thing that they hate. And, it's fine if you want that. It's, there's no right or wrong, but it's your life. It's your number one, your only life. So it's your choice. You gotta live with the choices that you make. But not actually wanting it will make it hard to find clients. Like if you don't actually want the clients, that will make it very difficult for you to find the clients, because what we want, if there's a desire there, that desire fuels us to actually go and get the thing that we want. And then the third thing that makes it difficult to find clients is attachment. This is when you're holding on to something that you need to let go of that is getting in the way of you finding your clients. And this can be anything. This can be like a bad habit. This can be doom scrolling. This can be wasting time. This can be gravitating towards negative people or drama on the internet or something that's just negative and draining. And you're attached to it and you're not willing to walk away from it. This can make it very difficult for you to find clients because it drains your energy. And then when you sit down to take the actions to find the clients, you're just bringing a low energy self, right? You're not in that great of a vibe. You're not feeling your best because you just spent hours and hours consuming or engaging in this low level behavior that you actually need to let go of. So once you attend to those three things, right? Change the story that you're telling yourself as you're taking the action. Figure out if you actually really want it or not. Yes or no. It's fine if it's a no. And let go of the attachment. What do you need to let go of to make space for those clients to come in? What do you need to step away from, release, cut out of your life because it's not serving you, it's actually draining you? And once you do that, it'll open up this massive space for these new clients to come in. So I hope that was helpful. If you guys want my help, if you want to discuss any of your challenges that you're having as far as finding clients, finding copywriting clients, landing clients, or even having a sales call with a potential client, just reach out to me on Instagram at antimarketingmanifesto.com or find my website, antimarketingmanifesto.com. And yeah, Michelle Lopez Boggs, search me and I will be happy to help you.